Erik Ten Hag, who is currently under contract at Ajax until the end of the season, ticks a lot of boxes for chairman Daniel Levy. He is open to Tottenham's proposal, and serious negotiations and talks will begin once Ajax lift the league title this season. Erik Ten Hag is the favourite to take over at Tottenham Hotspur. Preliminary conversations have happened between representatives, and he has singled out and told Tottenham and told Daniel Levy that he is up for joining, likes the proposal. There seems to have been a connection, according to media reports, between Daniel Levy and Erik Ten Hag. They believe there is a real firm connection there. And as already stated, as soon as the title is clinched for Ajax this season, official talks and conversations will begin to bring him to Tottenham Hotspur. And there are multiple other stories that have been circulating in the last few days in relation to this news here. We see similar stuff here from Fabrizio Romano that says Tottenham have scheduled a direct meeting with Erik Ten Hag. He is amongst the top candidates to become the new Spurs manager. Ten Hag is open to leave Ajax in the summer, but nothing is decided yet. The Guardian's headline that's been updated in recent moments says Tottenham target Ajax's Erik Ten Hag in search of a new manager. And it is really starting to heat up now. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. And we know what a talented manager he is. We know what he's achieved in football so far. It's been very, very good indeed. But he needs that step up now. He needs that challenge. And maybe he looks at Tottenham as being the right club for him to go and get that done. But I do want your views and I do want your opinions today. Hit that like button. Please share this stream on your social media platforms as well. To jump into some of your comments here, Eddie Howe is Spurs. I keep seeing a lot of people disrespect Spurs. Let me just say this now. A lot of people keep disrespecting Tottenham, acting like they can't land top managers. They landed Maurizio Pochettino when he was a highly touted manager. What he had done in Spain, then at Southampton, had a lot of big clubs looking at him, and he went to Tottenham. They signed Jose Mourinho. He may have been at the end of his powers, but they signed him. He was still a big manager, a big name that took a lot of persuading from Tottenham's point of view to bring him in. To act like Erik Ten Hag is unachievable for Tottenham, I think is crazy disrespectful to them. And I don't mind a little bit of banter, but on a real level, he is their level. He's not a Serie A, Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga winning manager. He isn't a Champions League winning manager. He's done okay. He's done well in Holland. He plays very good, attractive football. There's so much for Ten Hag to prove as Tottenham manager. We're acting like this guy is Pep Guardiola or Pete Ancelotti or Jurgen Klopp. It isn't that deep yet. There's still a long, long way for him to go for us to know whether or not he's even good enough for an elite level football club. And I believe Tottenham would be an excellent stepping stone in his career in moving forward. David here says he is just a decent manager befitting of the Ajax system. No salt, just asking, is he? Is he? We don't know. We won't know how good he is until he leaves. What we do know as it stands right now is what he has achieved. You know, he's by the time he leaves, it'll be a couple of there'll be a couple of trophies under his belt as an example. But we look at this here. This is his Ajax win percentage. 73% of the games for Ajax he has won. That is excellent. That is colossal. But we know the standard in the Premier League is a hell of a lot higher. So we know it's going to be a much more difficult task for him when he comes to the Premier League, when he arrives here to conduct his business. There's no doubt about it. And I know a lot of people say it's all banter when it comes to who Tottenham can sign, but I actually think some people believe it, bro. You can tell the difference between someone having a bit of banter and someone who really, really means it. Harry here says Tottenham getting excited because they think they'll win 10 trophies because he has 10 in his name. Come on, Harry. You can do better than that. That's not even that funny, Harry, my old mate. Come on. Daniel here. How you doing, bro? Long time no speak. Says, Josh, you know nothing about me. Oh, you're arguing with each other. You're arguing with each other. I thought it was going to be a comment about the show. But there we go. There we go. Let's do some more of it. We're going to open up the line for you to phone up and have your say in a few moments. Terry, how will Ten Hag improve Spurs? That is a great question. For me, when I look at Ten Hag, I see a very technical manager. I see someone, the Dutch system is what the Dutch system is. It's total football. It's pass, it's moves, it's patterns, it's intricate play. I think Tottenham have a lot of talent in their squad. I think Tottenham are a team that are never going to go out and break the bank and sign the superstars that Man City, Man United, Chelsea do. It is more about, they'll buy some big players here and there, but it's about developing, buying fresh or developing through the youth academy. That is what Erik Ten Hag has achieved on multiple occasions. He is more than good enough to, one, make the football more attractive, two, to progress Tottenham further up the league. I also think he commands the respect enough in the game to maybe convince a Harry Kane or a Son to stay and give him at least 1 year. See how you feel in 12 months' time. Give that to me. I think he could be the individual to do that. Football will be better. They will win more games. There'll be more entertainment, and he could convince some of the stars to stay. There's no doubt about that in my mind. David here says, Ten Hag will have to do an Ole and get them happy again, extract that poison from that was Jose, but depends on if and how he can rebuild. Will Kane be sold to refund? And maybe Harry Kane will be. We're going live with some Harry Kane news at 5 p.m. And it could be that. It could literally be the case of you have to sell Harry Kane to fund this new rebuild. And you go out and you buy some young up-and-coming players that can come in and fill those voids. And you create almost a... And maybe that's where Tottenham have got to sit. They've got more money and prestige than to be sitting mid-table. But they don't quite have the bees and honey to be able to compete with the big boys. So you need to get the mixture. So what do you need? You need a manager that can, one, keep the Spurs fans happy with entertaining football. But secondly, is used to doing well without hundreds of millions of pounds being spent each summer. Could be the perfect appointment for Tottenham at this moment of time in their history and as things stand. Some of you do ask some very strange questions. Get your comments into us right now. Get your super chats in as well, people. They're going to sell Kane either way. That could be happening. We'll delve into that a little bit later on in another stream we're doing. Terry, if the Champions League final is Chelsea and City, who's your opinion on? It may change after the league clash in a week or so, but right now my money's on Chelsea. I think Chelsea have the psychological edge after what happened in the FA Cup semi-final. I do think they have the psychological edge. And Daniel, I don't mind you spatting with people in the comment section. That's kind of what it's there for. I just thought it was a question for me. That's all I laughed at. That is all I laughed at. I see some more of these comments here. You all got to stop fighting with each other in the comments. It's making me laugh, but I can't concentrate on my stream. Terry, is it true that Chelsea are preparing a bid for Lukaku? Well, we spoke about that weeks ago on here. Lukaku is on the agenda. Lukaku is on the radar for Chelsea. Their number one primary target is Haaland. That is who their number one target is. But Chelsea are not run by stupid people. They will have a contingency plan and they will have other options available that they'll be focusing on. There is no doubt about. They're not going to leave it all down to one player makes or breaks our summer, our season. That's not going to happen at all. Sanja here says Tottenham will fail Ten Hag like they failed Mourinho without a doubt. How do you think they failed Mourinho? What did they do to foul Mourinho? They bought him some serious talent. He already had one of the most valuable squads in European football. And they bought Lo Celso, highly touted. They got Jedson Fernandez on a loan move first, but with a £60 million option to buy. If Jose Mourinho could have developed Jedson Hernandez like a manager like Ten Hag can or could, that's a £60 million player they've invested in there. Bergwijn, highly talented. They signed him. He wanted Højbjerg. He had Ndombele that was brand new when he took over. Yes, they could have done with some better centre-backs. No one's denying that. But to act like Jose Mourinho was thrown under the bus by the Tottenham board is a myth. It's a myth. Yes, the squad needs an improvement, but the style of football was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. All plays a part. And yes, the voice is back. Still a little sore, but the voice is back, Pav. Absolutely. We have a super chat here from Lengon Sweet that says, do you think if it's Chelsea versus Man City Champions League final, whoever wins gets Haaland? Maybe. I think it's whoever pays the most gets Haaland, to be absolutely honest with you. But if Chelsea don't make the Champions League, they're not getting Haaland. I don't think Haaland's going to go to any club that's not in the Champions League. I truly believe that. Through some more of these comments. Jake here, another member, says apparently Haaland is going to Bayern next year. Really? Where'd that come from? I've not seen that rumor. But you know what? There's so much news that gets spread now. I don't even get a chance to see it all. His arrogance fouled Mourinho. Ruth Dixon, you are bang on the money. It was Jose. There are still talented players at Tottenham that even Spurs fans have turned on. I'm not saying Erik Dyer can be improved much. I think Ten Hag makes Winks look like 5 times a player Jose got out of him. I think he can turn Son and Dele Alli and Ndombele into absolute superstars. I think he can turn around. I mean, you got Mora and Bergwijn in your squad, highly talented individuals. Spurs fans should be excited about a manager like Ten Hag coming in and taking over this squad that Jose Mourinho drowned. He drowned them like it's like he put a bunch of kittens in a bag and threw them in the lake. Just stifled them, suffocated them, ruined them. There's no doubt. Terry, can you name any successful Dutch managers in the Prem? Ooh, I suppose Martin Jol stands out. Now, when we say successful, you've got to look at it from a relatively speaking, what he achieved at Tottenham at that time in Tottenham's history was pretty good. I can't think of many others. You're absolutely right. I'm not off the top of my head. I can't think of many that have been here. Like Frank de Boer flopped. LVG flopped, really. Won an FA Cup, but didn't do too much. Is Gus Hiddink Dutch? He done all right as an interim. But I can't think of any. Can't even think of them off the top of my head. I'm just trying to think of other Dutch managers that were even here. But I think Gus Hiddink did all right at Chelsea as an interim manager. Ruud Gullit did okay, I suppose. Again, in an era at Chelsea where Chelsea weren't expected to win Premier Leagues, etc. He won a couple of trophies, I think. That is really testing my knowledge there. But yeah, none of them were like the very best of the best, but they did all right, relatively speaking. Steve McLaren. Did anyone remember that interview when he started speaking double Dutch? Legend. Jake here says, Raiola said if Haaland doesn't move this summer, he said to Dortmund's said to the Dortmund board that he's going to make a move to Bayern. So it's basically Raiola controlling it. But that's always what's going to happen. You know, when I kept on saying to people, don't have the buyout clause, because the buyout clause could buy you. Imagine Man United signed him. All these rivals of Man United. Oh, you should have signed him on the buyout clause. You might have convinced him to stay. No, you will always be held over the barrel. New one getting bored out, bruv. A new one getting bored out in front of your colleagues. What would happen is, he's been killing it for 18 months. We want to give him a new deal. We want 800 grand a week. It's too much. Don't give us 800 grand a week. And we're going to go to your biggest rivals next summer for the buyout clause of 70 mil. All right, we'll give you the 800 grand. Hello. Oh, hi, it's Bruno here to see you. It's Rashford. It's Pogba. It's Martial. Maguire. AWB. Everyone's saying, hang on, whoa, 800 grand a week. I want my pay increase. And suddenly you're spending hundreds of millions of pounds more a year on wages and you can't afford it. That's why it was a stupid deal for a club that wants to keep and build a side around him. I actually don't understand why people are still struggling to comprehend what the nature of that buyout clause would do to a Chelsea, a Man United, a Manchester City, a Liverpool, who don't buy to sell on. Awful business it would have been. Terry, Kane, Haaland, or Mbappe? That's a very hard question. But I'm going with... I can't answer it. I literally said all three names in my head. I don't know. Mbappe. I'm going Mbappe. That's hard to choose and pick from. It really is. It's a termination clause, not a buyout. Can he be sold against Dortmund's will if a certain amount of money is bid? I don't care for the semantics and the technicalities. Raiola and Haaland hold the cards in all negotiations. I never want my football club to put themselves in that position ever. I cannot be more categoric in what I'm saying. Let's do some more of these comments coming in here. Terry, Ollie gets a statue and the outers are calling him a fraud. Didn't take long. You got a statue? Which statue where? How have I missed this news? I should probably unmute certain hashtags. Statue? What are you talking about? Statue. Where? What do you mean statue? Oh, he has. Oh, wow, look at that. Bless it. Looks like a little statue of Pinocchio. It looks like Pinocchio. Listen, I didn't know that. I was only just breaking now. Fair play to him. Like, people have got to understand how respected in Norway Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was, always will remain. Like, you just have to. You have to understand that. I'm really happy for him. Imagine being so popular in a place. They make a statue for you. It's amazing. Well done, Ollie. Well done, you, mate. Well done, you. I'm sure it will trigger the outers. But there we go. There we go. Let's do some more of these comments here. Pav said yes, in his hometown there. Haaland will go to City, Mbappe to Real Madrid, Kane to United. Now, let me look. I know I didn't answer those questions, but let me just say this now. Let me just say this now. If that did happen, I'd be gutted that City have got Haaland. But if we got Kane, I'll be happy. Where I'd be angry, say all three of these players move this summer, and there is a big rumor that Mbappe is going to be that's going to have a transfer as well this summer. Huge rumor surrounding that. If that's true, that if he does leave and Haaland moves, if we don't land any one of those three, that's when I'll be upset. But I've got a preference myself. But if we land any one of those three players, Manchester United are in a nice position to say the least. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. Someone here says, look at the comments on Twitter. About what? About Ollie getting a statue? Are people really angry about it? No, it can't be. People can't be angry about him getting a statue. Surely not. How would that trigger anyone? Why would that trigger anyone? Do you know what? Do you know the only people that would? There's two types of people that would be triggered by that, and I don't know. I haven't looked at anything. Professional provocateurs, people looking to trigger you on purpose for no particular reason. They will be negative about it. Or people that just don't understand how good a footballer Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was. And that from the small town, and I bet it's a small town he's from, right? I bet it's a small town here. Let me Google search this town here. I'm going to find out its population. Fuck me. Looks tiny, right? Let me put population in it. Look, the picture looks tiny anyway. I don't know if it is, right? Let me see. He is from a town that, as of 2014, had a population of 24,000. So in 1999, I'm going to hazard a guess, right? I'm going to hazard a guess here. I'm trying to find out the actual stats of his. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't need all these stats. I've got all these stats about their health and economy now. Right, population. I'm going to put population in 1999, right? I'm going to put when he most famous moment in his life. Of estimated 20,000 people lived there. Imagine being from a town of 20,000 people. Now, I lived on Canvey Island in Essex. That was a small place where everyone knows everyone. And that had like 45,000 people on it when I lived there. So imagine living somewhere half that size and you become a Premier League football player at the biggest club in the world. You're one of the best goal scoring ratios in Premier League history, and you score one of the most famous goals in Champions League history. If you don't recognize that as for that little town, it isn't. They've not put it up outside Parliament in Norway. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't got a bust in the Oval Office at the White House. They haven't taken down Sir Winston Churchill's statue and put one of Ollie there instead. That would be a little excessive. This is just his hometown saying, thank you, Ollie. People got to calm down. People got to relax a little bit here. I'm not buying the fake outrage about it. It's either you're dumb, as in like you don't understand what Ollie was, or you're trying to be a bit of a professional provocateur. It's fake outrage. It's pseudo anger. And there we go. There we go. Let's see a few more comments. San Marino vibes. Yeah, San Marino is a mad country in the sense of I don't think there's very many people in San Marino at all. I really don't think there is. I don't think there's many people out there whatsoever. None whatsoever. See you on that. It does look a bit like him, to be fair. Yeah, we are talking Harry Kane, and we are talking, we're talking Harry Kane, and we're talking Sancho and Mbappe at 5 o'clock tonight. So we'll come back to that when we're taking calls. It's only a short stream this afternoon. So my guy Slens, how you doing, my brother? He says Ollie has a whole fan base on street. He does, man. I actually think that's great. I do think it's great how he has people just triggered at everything he does. It just does. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. There was a comment here I wanted to read out. Someone's having a pop at Johnny. It says, Ollie fans refuse to acknowledge it's a semi-final. As always, a semi-final. Oh, okay. I love it. I love how people call each other out, man. I love it. Honestly, I've enjoyed social media so much these days. When it's so we're looking at trivial, when it's absolutely trivial, to say the least. I usually rate Ollie, man. I don't get all the hate. When rivals are being objective, rivals tend to have more time for Ollie than his own fans. There is no doubt about that. A few people asking, when could this be confirmed for Ten Hag? Well, let's have a look at this for a second. I want to look at the Dutch league for a moment. I haven't seen the league table, so I wouldn't know. How many teams in their league? So they've got 18, so they play, what, 34 games each they play. So they've got 4 games to go. So it's going to happen very soon. So I didn't check that before it went live, but I have now. So they are 8 points clear with 12 points remaining. So it's basically when they get past the next 2 games. Well, it depends. If they win their next match and PSV Eindhoven lose, then it's done and the talks will start. So it could be within the next couple of weeks. The turnaround could be particularly quick. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. I don't mind people being Ollie out. I have some reservations myself, but put some respect on a legend's name. I think that's the balance, isn't it? I don't think he's a good enough manager to make us win the Premier League, but I ain't going to disrespect the legend of my club. Terry, today's game, should Ollie go gun-ho or be pragmatic? I think you start the first 20 minutes of any European tie first leg off pragmatically. If the opportunities in the opening 20 minutes present themselves to be more offensive, be more aggressive, then you do it. But what you don't want to do is go out like a bull in a china shop and be caught out. However, you can't be passive. Man United in the first 30 minutes against RB Leipzig, when we got knocked out the Champions League, we were too passive. We didn't meet their aggression soon enough. If we would have come out on the front foot and pushed them back, I don't think they scored those 2 early goals, and they nearly threw it away to us at the end anyway. We were just too passive in that game. So we just need to get the balance right. But I say be pragmatic with an air to be assertive when we can be. We don't want to sit back and just try to absorb too much. We want to try and get ourselves on the front foot. A nice early goal for Man United tonight will be important. But the most important element is keeping that clean sheet. If we don't give them an away goal, we gain a massive advantage going into that second leg. There is no doubt whatsoever. There's a comment here that says Ten Hag worked under Guardiola and took a Dutch West Ham to the Champions League just before joining Ajax. He's a born winner. And, I didn't even delve too much today into his history because I didn't have the time. But I'm talking about what I've seen him do at Ajax. I think he's a good man manager. The way the players talk about him is great. The style of football is excellent. He's won trophies. I think he is now ready and he needs that next move. I think that Julian Nagelsmann's taking a big risk going to a gargantuan club. I think a Tottenham is a nice stopgap for 2 or 3 years for Ten Hag. If he does two or three really good years, I think a big club is going to come in for him. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. A few people in the comments have been asking me for my opinion on a video that is circulated in relation to Ole Gunnar. I have seen the video not too long ago, hour or 2 back now. I didn't stream, as you know, this morning. I was busy. I had meetings and some great stuff we've got planned for you, by the way. I have seen it, and yeah, look, for me, I completely understand why people are upset. Whenever you see a joke in any context that involves a person of color, a black person, and a banana, there's always going to be outrage. There's always going to be people upset. There's always going to be people offended. There's always going to be people that are going to want to come out and do that. My view is very much come out and just apologize for it 110% and mean what you're saying. I don't know who the young gentleman, the young kid was that said it, but he needs to be spoken to, educated, and that's the most important bit for him as a young man. But be mindful of what you're saying there and stuff along those lines. And what I would say to Ole Gunnar is really, really simple: is you need to do better as a host, because you need to police and listen to what people. And I know I do. I switch off as a host, and I don't always listen to everything that's being said. And if something slips up or happens on your watch, it is on you. It is on me. It is on whoever is hosting there. I believe, I haven't seen because I haven't checked, that he's come out and he's apologized. And some people will accept that, some people won't. accept that in relation to what was said. And for me, it's not a joke or something I would have shared on a personal level. But I've missed things on my streams as well. So I've been in that position, had to come out and apologize as well. And that's the scenario as it stands right now. And I don't know, because I haven't spoke to them, what Expressions thinks, because I know the joke was aimed at him. Knowing Expressions, or knowing him, I don't know him that well, but I think he'll see it for what it was. It was someone who was having fun as opposed to being malice. That would be my interpretation. But yeah, Lee's come out, I believe, and said he's sorry about it. And yeah, I've had a super chat come in, and a few people asked me, so I thought I'd address it because you're asking me to. But yeah, it says here Expressions is cool with Lee still. Yeah, and I'm sure Expressions is cool with Lee still, because they're friends. They're friends, and I think sometimes when things happen publicly, but it involves people that are actually friends, it's a very weird dynamic to be in. Like the way me and my friends in my group chat talk to each other, I would never do that publicly with people I don't really know. Sometimes these things cross over and it creates a hullabaloo, as an example. But yeah, look, I just wanted to address it because people have super chatted on it. I didn't want to ignore it. Some people are saying rants and Expressions are on Lee's side. And you know what? This is the thing with me. Each to their own. I know people that won't side with Lee on this. I know people that will side with Lee on this. And that's the nature. That's the great thing we have about living where we live, is you're free to take up whatever stance that you want to take up, and that's their right. And no one should think any less or any more of them for doing it. It's their personal choice to be able to do it. As I say, Lee's come out and said he's sorry. I think what was said, for me, I can see the offense and the outrage and why it's been caused in relation to that. I think the young kid has said that he wasn't trying to be racist in any way, shape, or form, and he's apologized. And then it comes down to whether people want to accept that apology or not. And that's people's personal choice and personal preference. And that's down to them as individuals, I would say. So yeah, fair play to Expressions and to Rants for coming out and saying that. And I don't know whether they've defended him or not. But there we go. Yeah, I don't know too much about what they've said or not, because I haven't reached out to them or spoken to them, because it's not really my business. I'm only commenting on it because a lot of you I had a super chat and other things, and I always say I never ignore a super chat. It's one of our rules here at the Football Terrace. So there we go. Listen, I'll do a few more of your comments coming in here. David here says, you just have to be extra careful with what subjects. Yeah, look, no, I get that completely. And I think you're absolutely right. And I think it'll be a learning curve for Lee. I think Lee will be switched on when people are talking now. I can assure you, like when you get these shocks to the system, there's no doubt. No, not taking calls. Taking calls at 5 o'clock. That is when I'll be back later today. I will. Abs, you can come on later. At 5 o'clock, we're opening up those phone lines for you to all come on and have your say. So make sure you're back here live at 5. It's only an hour and 15 minutes. So make sure you're back with us again soon. But until next time, everyone, take care of yourselves. Oh, someone here says, Terry Grizz said Liverpool are going after 2 attackers, Sancho and Malin from PSV. We'll be touching on all of that at 5 o'clock. So make sure you're here with us at the Football Terrace. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.